Today we're going over how to make setting up a tank cheaper because we've all been through it. We're going to set up a new tank and we put all these things into our cart, right? The lights, the filters, the soil, the hardscape, all this stuff, the plants. And at the end of the day, it's really, really expensive, usually topping $1,000 if you're getting a decent sized tank. I want to help you guys save some money, cut some edges, and really just get into the hobby at a cheaper cost. So let's jump into it. The first thing that I want you guys to do is to think outside of the box, okay? And what I mean by that is most of the things that are marketed to you as an aquarium item live outside of the aquarium hobby. Like when you think about it, the lights that you use don't have to be Chihiros. They can be something from Amazon or whatever it may be. You can get lights and hardscape and all this stuff from a lot of different sources that don't necessarily have an aquarium brand behind them. In the same vein, you should think, can I make this? Is this something that maybe I could like MacGyver into being something? Like, can I make a lid? Can I make a filter? You could probably do that a lot cheaper than going out and buying one. Now, on that note, do-it-yourself is very key in this hobby, and one of my favorite hacks that I've learned is to create my own root tabs. Now look, you can go out, you could buy the good name brand root tabs, and it's gonna cost you about $1 a tab in all, which can add up over the course of owning tanks for a long time. But if you go out, you can go to either Home Depot or Lowe's and find this thing that's called Osmocote. It's a type of fertilizer that comes in this kind of container. It looks exactly like this pretty little thing right here. And that's a huge container. And it usually costs like $16 to $20 for what could essentially make thousands of root tabs. All you need to do in addition to buying the Osmocote is to buy like these little pill, gelatin caps. You put the fertilizer inside the gelatin packs and it acts as a root tab. You're getting essentially exactly what's in all of those name brand root tabs for a fraction of the price. Trust me, it saves money in the long haul. It may seem like something you won't use that often, but trust me, you're going to put it inside of your tank a lot more often than you think if you have planted tanks. Another DIY item that people don't really think about are stands. Tank stands are really, really expensive. This one right behind me, I made myself. Now, of course, this requires a little bit of, handiwork and the ability to make something like this. But to be perfectly honest, this is 2x4s and sheet wood. Like, it's not like I'm some magician or some carpenter. I am a guy that looked up how to make something. So I would recommend it because I created this whole thing for about $70 rather than spending like $200 on a nice tank stand. And to be honest, I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, it has character for sure. I mean, you can see the screws and there's some dripped paint, and obviously this isn't painted back here, but it's completely functional, right? Like you just close these bad boys up, it hides everything and it looks pretty decent. So yeah, just think about that the next time that you're setting up a tank. Another thing that's not technically DIY is driftwood and, hardscape, rocks, things like that. Go out to nature and go get it. Right? Like you don't have to buy a $70 rock. The amount of times that I've spent $60 on a Cereal rock when I should have just gone out and got a river rock from a river is insane. I can't believe that I do it. But I also have collected pieces of driftwood in the past, and things that are really cool about that are sometimes, because it's nature, you'll get some things that are interesting about your wood. Like this piece of wood that's sticking out of my tank right here. Right there, that piece of driftwood actually had some fungus and some spores in it that I didn't know about. And it ended up growing a bunch of different mushrooms out of it. And it was really, really cool. In addition to that, you can get really cool rocks that can go in your tank. Just check out the minerals in them, test your tank before you put fish in, or don't put the rocks directly into a fish, habitat unless you're certain of what they are and what kind of minerals they have. But, on that topic, make sure that if you do collect driftwood or collect rocks, for the rocks, do not boil them to disinfect them because rocks contain little bits of water inside of them. And if you boil the water, it can boil the water in the rocks and make them explode. You don't want to do that. For the driftwood, you're all good to boil it. To have at. So let's talk about tanks and how to make the tank itself cheaper. And there's a couple different options that you have. One, don't go rimless. Go rimmed, because rimmed tanks are significantly cheaper and you can find them on sale all the time. You almost never find rimless tanks on sale. I have rimless because I'm bad and bougie, but really you only need rimless tanks if you're an aquascaper, not a fish keeper. There's a very big difference between the two. If you're a fish keeper, you're really all about the fish and creating a habitat specifically for them. Go the rimmed route because the rimless doesn't matter. Also, wait for sales at those big box brand companies, because Petco and PetSmart have huge sales all the time where they do like 50% off, or they do $1 per gallon. So you can get a 75-gallon tank for $75. That's a really, really smacking deal. Also, if you're a beginner and you're looking to just save money and you're not going for the most practical thing, then you can go with a smaller tank rather than a bigger tank. And the reason that I say this is usually with a beginner, you want a bigger tank because it's harder to fluctuate the water, way easier to keep the water stable, like in terms of parameters and stuff. But if you're going from a strictly budget approach, you want to go smaller, because then you have to buy less plants, less hardscape, less soil, less equipment, just in general. Smaller tank usually equals cheaper, but harder to take care of. More maintenance required. So just keep that in mind. Also, you don't need name brand when it comes to tanks. You just don't. You can buy them off of Amazon. You can buy them off of wherever. I will say, in the long run, the more money that you spend on your tank, the less likely it is to crack or the silicone to go out. So you do get what you pay for in terms of quality. If you want a really nice tank, that would be one thing that I would splurge on in your whole tank initial setup. Sorry for interrupting this video, but if you haven't subscribed, you need to go subscribe, because at 10,000 subscribers, I am going to be doing a crazy giveaway where I fly to somebody's house, I bring the hardscape, the substrate, everything that goes inside of a tank, the plants, everything, and help you design a tank. How does that sound? Sounds pretty damn cool, right? Go subscribe. This next tip is probably gonna be the biggest one in the entire video because it's really important, and it's secondary markets. Make sure that you're looking at your Facebook marketplaces, your Macaris, your OfferUps, your AquaSwaps on Reddit, your local Facebook fish groups. Trust me, this is the best place that you're going to find the deals, because a lot of people, just like gym equipment, you go out, you buy a bunch of dumbbells, you're like, I'm getting yoked this season, haha, swimsuit season, and then you sell all of that 6 months later. People do the same exact thing with fish equipment. They will buy it, they buy this big old nice thing, and they think, oh man, this is my new thing. And then they sell it 5 months later because they had to cut back their pearl weed and the snails were too expensive. Anyway, just make sure that you're checking out there, because I have found the best rimless deals on Facebook Marketplace ever. I found a brand name Fluval and stand easily $1,000 to like $1,500. It was a 56-gallon tank. I found it for $400, and it came with hardscape, rocks, all the good stuff, plants. Crazy good deal. Best one that I found, but you can find those all the time. Bunch of different equipment, lights, yada, yada, yada. Also, I kind of just threw this in there, but the AquaSwap over on Reddit is one of the most useful places that you can go if you're looking for plants. I have found that a lot of people on there are honest, and they're giving away some really cool stuff. Sometimes they'll even give you plants just for free, just to get rid of it. All you have to do is pay for shipping. But I found that if you have a highly wanted plant, or maybe it's not highly wanted, but you have an abundance of it, you could trim those. You go, hey, I have this for available. Can I get a Java fern? They go, sure, yeah, I like what you're growing. You send it to them, they send it to you, and you swap plants. I think it's the same for fish and stuff. I'm not exactly positive. Of course, just use your noggin when you're dealing with people online. Not everybody is super, upfront and trustworthy. So don't go sending, a zebra pleco that's worth $300 the first time that you do an aqua swap with somebody, because people will get you. Absolutely shameless plug, but over on my Discord, we also have a aqua swap and like sell your tanks, buy your tanks kind of marketplace. I will say I've seen some people doing business in there. Good stuff. I hold no responsibility for what goes on in those places, and I do not want to mod or have to get involved in drama. You guys are adults. I'll treat you as such. The minute that something is sniffed out that you don't treat that place with respect, you out of here. All right. So do good business and you'll get good business in return. But yeah, we have it over on my Discord. But honestly, in addition to all of that stuff about my Discord, we actually have a really good community over there. Shout out to Tara, Takazumi, CJ, Bambi, all you people that are always talking in there. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot. But go check it out because there's like 400 people in there or something, and it's a really cool community. Now, I wouldn't consider food to be one of the more expensive things in this hobby, but if you want to make your food cheaper, you absolutely can by a few easy things. Brine shrimp is one of them. It's a good source of protein, it's very easily produced, and well, it'll last forever if you keep it going. Microfauna is another thing. You can either grow them in your tank or outside of your tank. Either way, look up how to do it. I don't want to go into 40 minutes of how to breed brine shrimp and microfauna in this video. It's just options, right? Another thing that you can do, and this is if you're into the whole live fish feeding thing, but if you have big fish like Oscars, you could also breed, feeder fish on your own. It could save you a lot of money in the long haul. And then also, you can take your floating plants and blend them up, bake them, and turn them into your own little, essentially wafer algae wafers, and drop them into your tank and your fish will eat those. It's actually really easy. The only issue with blending and then baking the food is that it can get a little bit stinky. Let's talk lights. And the marketing that goes behind lights is really, really smart because they sell them as if they are aquarium specific lights when they're not. You can go out and you can buy a $40 Amazon light for way cheaper than a $200 light from the aquarium hobby. And it's gonna give you the same kind of output for your plants, like in terms of lumens and stuff. The difference is the tech inside of the apps and the seamless scheduling and RGB settings that you can do with those really expensive lights that you can't get out of a $40 light. You're gonna be able to bring out really cool reds and different colors in your plants if you get the $200 light. But with the $40 light, you're gonna get plant growth. It's gonna keep your plants alive. Everything's gonna be perfectly fine. You just might not get the same reds unless you're dosing iron. But anyway, the only other thing that makes the $40 light less appealing is the fact that you also need to buy like an output timer because most of these $40 lights don't come with a timer. But you can buy these lamps, the floodlights, everything in the Amazon link down below. Yes, I make money. Sue me. I make 40 cents off the $5 that you spend. You haven't joined the Discord and you're not subscribed? Who are you? It's like I don't even know you. Go subscribe and get on the Discord. Now, plants are a completely different thing in this hobby because they are pretty expensive. Like usually your average plant is going to cost you about $10 to $12. Now, I can't change that. You can go to AquaSwap, you can go to Facebook Marketplace and your local fish groups, but a lot of the times they'll charge roughly the same thing, maybe a little bit cheaper. The best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is set up a tank all by itself that's just meant for plants, right? And you take some of the trimmings from your current plants that are in your tank, put them into that tank and let them grow and continue to trim and replant. And that's eventually going to get you a forest that you can use for any tank in the future. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, but it's going to save you money in the long haul when you want to get some of those cool, Rotalas or Ludwigias. Instead of spending $10, you'll save $10. Another thing that you can do that technically won't save you money, but it will actually help make you some money is breeding. And I would really recommend just keeping this to like your live bears, like guppies or endlers and stuff like that. But those are very easy to breed. They require practically nothing and you can sell them like hot fire. People buy guppies nonstop. Trust me when I say that. I sold a lot of koi guppies when I had a koi guppy tank. If you found this video useful, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. Once we get to 10,000 subscribers on this channel, I am going to be flying out to somebody's house, helping them design a tank and paying for the entire thing. It's going to be super, super cool. I very much look forward to it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you later.